Well, folks, with all this negativity going on in the market, all these naysayers saying, hey, let's abandon Bitcoin, let's abandon crypto, I'm going a different direction, and I am going to show you why it's time to buy the fucking dip. We're seeing 83% of institutions who plan to buy crypto allocations in 2025 as per Coinbase. We're also going to go through analysis of about 7 or 8 cryptos that are ready to pop, that are sitting at such lows right now that people should be jumping at these opportunities. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. Today is March 18th, 2025, and we're going to go through some of the cryptos that I feel are ready to pop and are being suppressed, and the analytics don't lie. So let's get right into this. First of all, let's check out the ISM manufacturing index, and we see we're at quite a bit of a low here historically. When we go into a yearly view, we also see that we've hit a bit of a dip, but zooming out, we're way low. Once this number starts going up, Bitcoin and the whole crypto market's going to follow. If we get into the M2 money supply, which we also covered yesterday, the total money supply globally is going to also jump. You see here in 2020, the money supply grew exponentially, and we also saw the crypto market jump exponentially. We are about to see the same kind of thing here. The US is going to have to start printing. Europe's going to have to start printing more money, and China is on the brink of collapse if they don't print any more money. Let's get right into some charts. So here we have the Bitcoin chart. This is a 2-year chart, and we've got the bitty. Everybody knows this chart, fine. But I'm going to now show some charts from other cryptos. Let's start with Solana. So as we see here, Solana's way off the highs. So we're talking in percentage here. We're talking, potentially 700 gains from where we're at here, 700%. So, you got to be a fool not to be buying these dips. We're back at prices from early 2024, about mid-2024, February 2024 on Solana. Definitely time to buy this puppy. Let's check out another contender, Algorand. Here we go again. And as we see, way down in terms of historic prices for the past couple of years. From the low here where we're at to the high, we're talking a good 100%. You take your 100% and you walk. Let's check out Doge. Doge, as far as actual supply is concerned, there's way too much to supply for my liking. I like it more like Bitcoin, where there's a limited supply. However, you can't argue with the current analytics on this thing. We're talking, look, it's showing 73%. If we go back up to the highs, 300, that's a 300% gain. Even if we make it back up here, that's 120% gains. So it's time to buy the fucking dip on Doge. I bought the dip on Doge. I bought the dip on Solana. I bought the dip on Algorand just today. Another one I'm looking at, AVAX. Same kind of situation. Here we are, and we're back to prices from approximately December, November of 2023. people should be chomping at the bit here, ready to hop on. I've heard some analysts say, it's time to go in a 10x position on margin. Personally, I'm not going to get wrecked. Okay, so if you go in on these positions, it's also a good idea to put a stop loss on any of these, right? If you're concerned that, if the price goes even further down, you want to have a stop loss in there just in case to protect yourself. But if it does go further down, even better. Then there's a chance for even another 50% gain, right? Look, off their highs, hugely off their highs here. Let's get into Ton Coin. Ton, another huge one. Way off its highs, right? We're talking about 788 compared to right now 500% possibility of increase here. This is another one that definitely you want to look at buying the dip on and buy it now. We're going to see what happens tomorrow. The Jerome Powell is going to talk from the Feds. We'll see what happens with interest rates, if they get a little more dovish or if they continue to say, we're not going to lower rates, et cetera, et cetera. But the next 2 days could be pretty huge for the traditional financial markets and the crypto. But there's a ton of fun here, guys. This is an opportunity waiting to make big gains. Even at 100% gain, from the bottom here, you could have been up already close to 100%. And from this point, just to get back to here, we're talking a 3x. Let's jump into another contender, Injective. Same situation here. And even if we get back to this level here and we start, chopping up back and forth, it's still up a fair amount. Just to here, we're talking 200%. And to get back to the highs, this is massive. 1,300% we're talking here, guys. So Injective, another good one. Let's hide that puppy and go into Polkadot. Not as jumpy as some of the others, but still very, very easy to call this one. Look, right across the board. Here's the bottom. Here's the bottom. Here's the bottom. It's not rocket scientists who need to give you this information. I mean, it's clear that right here is the bottom on these guys, and here's the top. So we're talking, again, about a 60-70% gain. In the traditional financial markets, you're not going to find anything like this. Now, let's just talk about supply, because I've gone through 3, 7, 8 coins here, which have great potential. And you'll notice I left out Ethereum. So why did I leave out Ethereum? Ethereum has an unlimited supply. The one we're looking at right now as well, Polkadot, unlimited supply. For me, I'm not going for these. It needs to have somewhat of an unlimited supply for me to even invest any kind of money on there. Solana supply, 595 million. Quite big. Algorand, 10 billion. Doge, 148 billion. AVAX, 72 million. Ton, 5.125 billion. Injective, 100 million. So personally, I bought the dip on Solana, Algorand, Doge, and I will be buying Injective later on tonight. So that would be this guy. So why am I focusing on these? Because there is a limited supply and a massive upside. We've gotten to the point where we've pretty much hit the bottom. Even if we get down to here, I'm going to put a stop loss, right? If I lose a little bit, couple percent, I'm okay with that. If I have a stop loss in it, fine. Otherwise, all I'm going to have to do, folks, is sit back on my couch and watch my money grow. Bitcoin is not going anywhere. The crypto market is not going anywhere. I'm not talking about shit coinery. yeah, the shit coins are, you're going to lose your shirt. Stay away from shit coinery. However, coins that are in the top 50, top 100, top 20 in terms of market cap, they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere except up, right? We see the charts here. There's no lie. The charts aren't lying. We've got the indicators here that we just went through. We've got the ISM at historical relative lows, not all-time lows, but relative lows compared to history here. Once the manufacturing picks up, Bitcoin's going to follow a month or two later. Once the money printer starts chiming up again, as it did in 2020, and as they're going to have to start doing now, the U.S. is going to have to start printing money. They're going to have to lower rates in order to pay off their current debt, just to service the current debt. China, who's also, they are the second biggest economy in the world. We're talking about 20 trillion a year in the States, and I think it's 19. It could be 21, 22 trillion in the States and 21 in China. So all the other countries pale in comparison. You'd have to add up all the countries in Europe to come up to that amount as well. So by country, it's basically the States versus China. I know everybody thinks Russia, but Russia only has a 1 trillion GDP. So economically, there's no comparison. But once this M2 money supply starts to go through the roof again, also another bullish tenet for the biddy. So when we go to the charts and we see that, Bitcoin's down and everybody's freaking out and everybody's saying, sell, it's going to zero, don't listen to them. It's complete BS. We've got, Bitcoin right now at a relatively decent level to buy. It hasn't dipped like the rest. It, followed its head and shoulder pattern. And here we are, the low was right in here at about 77,000, 76,500, which matched the initial point of the head and shoulders pattern. When we go to some of these other coins, and if you noticed, a lot of these other coins are following pretty much the same pattern as the biddy, right? Just compare it all here. It's all the same, folks. There's no differences between the Bitcoin and some of these other coins. The biggest difference is Bitcoin doesn't move as much percentage-wise as some of these other guys. But here, if we've got everything overlaid on top of each other, you will see that anywhere you go here with any of these coins, it's already hit rock bottom. You buy some, you put a stop loss for a few percent. If the price dips over the next few days or week, fine, you lost a couple percent. Once you buy in again, right? Once it hits rock bottom, and I feel like it's already hit rock bottom right around this level, maybe about 2 weeks ago. We'll see what happens tomorrow and the next day with the Fed Reserve and their verbiage, whether they're going to be saying, hey, we're going to drop rates, or whether they're saying that, oh no, rates are going to stay the same, inflation's high, we need to keep high interest to fight inflation. This is yet to be seen. We shall see tomorrow. I know in Canada today, the headline read, surprisingly, inflation rate higher than expected. That was, believe it or not, that was the actual headline. Surprising, inflation higher than expected. And it was up 2%. So we'll see what happens in the States. But, I can't reiterate enough. It's time to buy the fucking dip. You see some of these coins here, and you see that opportunity is in front of us. Let everybody else who tells you don't buy the biddy, everything's going to crash, don't do it. When you go to the actual numbers This is not what's showing at all. What's actually showing is we are ready to get into the next cycle for manufacturing. We're ready to get into the next cycle of money printing. Here's a chart of the U.S. money supply since 1966 till now, and you can't tell me that this is just hilarious, right? Here we've got the U.S. debt at $36.6 trillion and climbing like a motherfucker every second, right? It equals to $107,100 per U.S. citizen at this point, or $323,048 per taxpayer. They cannot default on this debt and expect their citizens to come up with this money. They have to service the debt. It's the only thing they can do. Let's check out some price action for today. We've got Bitcoin sitting steady. It was down a couple percent earlier, but now it's at pretty much steady at 83,000. The whole market was down a couple percent earlier. Ethereum up 1.5%, 1937. Solana exactly sitting steady at 0% gain or loss, $124. Cardano 70 cents. XRP $2.28. Again, flat for the day. Doge flat for the day, 16 cents. Checking out crypto bubbles, we've got for the day a pretty green day at 11 p.m. Eastern time in North America with a few things up. We've got EOS up 30%, Maker 8%, Ray 13%, about 80-20 in terms of plus minus. Zooming out to the week, again, this I would call about a 90-10 plus minus. So everything's in the green here for the week. Toncoin 34%, Pancake Swap 50%, Atom 20%, Maker 20%. It's just when you zoom out to the monthly, and this chart inevitably is also going to change to a little more green as the days go by and as the prices go up from these lows. The total market cap for crypto right now, we've got Bitcoin at $1.65 trillion, Ethereum $233 billion, XRP $132 billion, Solana $63 billion, Doge $25 billion, Cardano $25 billion, Tron $23 billion. The total market cap right now for all of crypto is $2.67 trillion, with Bitcoin holding 61.5%, Ethereum 8.7%, XRP 5%. Now, one other thing that we've seen in historical bull runs is this huge market cap that Bitcoin has at 61.5%. When the bulls start running, the Bitcoin market cap actually seems to go down because you get a bunch of the altcoins that are basically taking a bit of that market cap. So we're traditionally seeing it in the bull run in around the 50 some odd percent, 50, 55, certainly not 62%. So right now, Bitcoin is holding king. We are in a 32 in fear today. Yesterday it was a 34 in fear, and last week was also a 34 in fear. There are 1,122 days until the next Bitcoin halving, which is in 2028, with 161,586 blocks left to mine until that point. And you can currently get 1,205 Satoshis for one fiat US dollar. And this will keep going down inevitably over and over and over. It's going to get to under 1,000. Then at some point, it's going to get to under 100. So remember that one Bitcoin can be split into 100 million Satoshis. So when this number gets to 100, then Bitcoin's at 10 million bucks. When it gets to on par, 1 Satoshi for $1, Bitcoin is at $100 million. So expect that this number will also continue to come down. Total assets by market cap, we've got gold to $20.3 trillion, Apple $3.2 trillion, Microsoft $2.8 trillion, Nvidia $2.8 trillion, Amazon $2 trillion, Google $1.969 trillion, silver $1.944 trillion, Saudi Aramco $1.652 trillion, and there's the biddy very close to Saudi Aramco at number 9, $1.639 trillion, and if I refresh, it's even closer, $1.644 trillion. Facebook $1.475 trillion. So we definitely do have a great opportunity to buy the dip, folks, and I'm doing it myself, and that's the route I'm going. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. The more that days go by, the more information we get, the more bullish news we get for Bitcoin. Last week or a week and a half ago was all about the Bitcoin strategic reserve in the States. And instead of Bitcoin pumping, it held steady. It went down a bit. We've got nation states buying the biddy, not moving. But once the whales allow us to buy more biddy, the prices are going to go up. The only people that are buying the crypto market right now are the whales. Everybody else has shit their pants and said, I'm not losing my money, I'm out. Right? The smart people are jumping in right now. The smart people have a stop loss on their biddy. Right? They buy in, they put a stop loss, whatever they're comfortable with, 3%, 5%. Okay, so if we go back down to the bottom area here, as we see, it's very steady right across here, guys. Very, very steady, easy to trace. So if we go back down to the bottom, okay, you might have lost 5%, and you buy in there, right? Or you just hold. You sit on the couch, and you wait for this thing to go up. And I'm not even talking about alt season, parabolic curves. I'm just talking about getting back to what have been, and we're talking about 3-month highs here. This is like a 1-year low, and this is a 3-month high. So things could get back up here very, very quickly. Bitcoin is pulling back today, as we saw earlier. It's already back to where it started the day, but people are nervous ahead of the Fed meeting results tomorrow. The NASDAQ and S&P were both lower by more than 1% before the close. After a couple sessions of good vibes, risk markets headed back into retreat on Tuesday, one day ahead of the results of this week's U.S. Federal Reserve policy meeting. Bitcoin was trading at 81,000 at press time, lower by 3.5% over the past 24 hours. But again, we see it's already back up. And Solana, Ether, XRP were also modestly higher in the losses, a bit more than an hour before the close of trade. The NASDAQ was down 1.7% and S&P 1.1%. The Fed Open Market Committee began its 2-day policy meeting today with results and Chairman Jerome Powell's post-meeting press conference set for Wednesday afternoon in U.S. hours. So tomorrow afternoon, we are going to see what the Fed's Jerome Powell has to say. As I mentioned before, while no one is expecting a change in interest rates, traders will be looking for signs that the Fed is perhaps turning a hair more dovish given recent market turbulence and a slowdown in inflation. The market action on Tuesday, however, suggests nervousness. The Fed may not yet be ready to ease policy further. After all, the downturn in inflation in February wasn't that large, and it was just one report. And the dip in markets, though painful for many, has also been pretty modest given the impressive run higher in recent years. According to CME FedWatch rate traders, today we see no chance of the Fed cuts rate tomorrow, and only 20% of them cutting the rates in the next meeting in May. For June, though, there's a 66% chance that the Fed will cut the rate. So, as we've said before in the show, when there's interest rate cuts, people have more money and more money in their pockets, more money they can borrow, and more money that they usually will put into risk assets like the biddy. So when there's interest rates cuts, the stock market booms, the Bitcoin booms, and this will all happen, right? A 66% in June. So when going back to the biddy, when I'm talking about parabolic climbs, when I'm saying buy the fucking dip, don't expect that tomorrow the price is going to skyrocket. This is going to take time. It's going to be a slow climb, generally over, a couple months, and then we're going to see some big ups and downs, and then followed by some more declines, right? It's normal for the crypto market to have very, very volatile up and downs, especially in the bull year. And that's what we're in right now. There are more bullish things that are happening in the crypto industry. And again, these are the type of things that I keep saying, such positive news in the Bitcoin industry, and we're not seeing a pump in Bitcoin. But 83% of investors, of institutions, plan to up their crypto allocations in 2025, according to Coinbase. Up to 75% of institutions could be actively using DeFi platforms in 2 years, the survey said. Institutional investors are increasingly bullish on cryptocurrency, with 83% saying they plan to up their allocations in 2025, according to a March 18th report by Coinbase and EY Parthenon. Already, nearly 3/4 of firms surveyed said they hold cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin and Ether, and a significant majority said they plan to boost crypto allocations to 5% or more of their portfolios, the report said. They are motivated by the view that cryptocurrencies represent the best opportunity to generate attractive risk adjustment returns over the next 3 years, according to the report. Coinbase, the U.S.'s largest crypto exchange, and EY Parthenon are a consultancy based. The findings on interviews with more than 350 institutional investors in January. Among institutional altcoin holdings, XRP and Solana are the most popular, their survey found. So, more bullish, institutional investors, the big money. They already own the biddy. They're buying the dip as we speak, while people are afraid. The whales know where to put their money. They are buying the price low, so that way when the price rises, they're already in the gains. And once we go back to the chart here, it's almost like, if you put your money in here, it's not going to take long before you start making money, right? You're only going to lose really up until here, if we look historically. But what are the gains, right? The gains are massive. The losses are minuscule compared to the huge upside that awaits. Even if the upside only brings you to here, we're talking about a 20, 30, 50% gain. Up to here, we're talking, a few 100% gain. So big things to come. I bought the dip. That's where I'm going with it. Bitcoin will rally to 180,000 as investors become despondent, say venture capitalist Dan Tapiero. Here's when. Macro investor, the fund manager Dan Tapiero, says he remains long-term bullish on Bitcoin amid a correction that has seen the flagship crypto asset fall by around 24% from the all-time high record in January. In a new interview on the Wolf of All Wall Street's YouTube channel, Tapiero says that Bitcoin could appreciate by around 117% from the current level after a period of trading sideways. I always expected us to spend months consolidating around 100,000. I think we're going to chop up back and forth between 70 and 100 to digest all this news. And at some point, we're going to head back up. And I have had this 180,000 target in my mind for a while. On when Bitcoin could reach the 180,000 target price, Tapiero says, I know some people have been more aggressive, but I think this bull phase, we can hit that 180,000 this year or potentially early next year. But I'm thinking more this year. According to Tapiero, Bitcoin has posted positive returns from its mid-2023 levels, urging investors to zoom out and not get caught up by the current correction. Exactly. Don't look day to day. Day to day, prices go up, prices go down. It doesn't matter if you're in the crypto market, the traditional financial market, stocks, the prices go up and down every single day. Look at the macro picture. Look at the kind of charts that I'm showing you here. Look at the big picture. If we zoom in, what do we see? We see jack all. We see a bunch of sideways, right? But when you zoom out, that sideways turns into massive jumps from up to down, from down to up. So this is what we should be focusing on, going way back. This is what you want to be focusing on, right? We're not here. This is not the price we're looking at now. This is our low, right? So over the long term, prices will always go up. That's the way it's been in the traditional market and the S&P since the turn of the 1900s there. Prices have always gone up. People have always made the money. The ones who stay the course, the ones who buy the price when it's low, the ones that don't run when the price is low, but instead run in when the price is low. These are the people that are making the good money, the people that are buying on a red day and selling on a green day. So always have that in mind. So it's just the way markets work, right? You got 85% or 90% bulls up at 100%, at 100,000, and now you're down at, what is it, 15%, and people are despondent. They think the world is over, and yet it's at 80,000 bucks, which is still up 2-3x from 18 months ago. It's pretty incredible. Crypto is trading at 83,000 at the time of writing. So that's exactly what I was saying. Like, look at this from a macro view. Think of a few years ago. Where was this price a few years ago? It was here. It was nothing, right? Now we've got prices way up, Bitcoin way up, and everybody's freaking out because there was a 25% turn down in the market, and they're ready to start jumping over off the balconies, right? Like, think about it. So don't be that guy. Be the guy who stays calm, have balls of steel. When everybody's running out, you want to be that person running in and taking advantage, taking the sale price, buying at the sale price, and getting good value for your money. Not the guy who's following everybody. The price of Bitcoin, okay, it's over 100,000. It's time to buy it now. When everything's calm and everybody's looking the other day, that's when you want to buy your biddy. That's when you want to buy whatever coin you're interested in. We went through a bunch of good candidates at the beginning of the show. If you missed it, please just rewind to the front of the show. We went through Solana, Algo, Doge, AVAX, Ton, Injective, and Polkadot as very good candidates to take advantage of right now and buy the dip on. Remember, everybody, there is lots of money, and money is abundant. There's over $900 trillion in assets around the world. It's time that's scarce, so use your time wisely. spend less money than you earn so you can always stay in the green. And if you suddenly start making more money, start saving more money. Don't start spending more money, and start saving when you're young. If you can start saving in your teens or 20s, you should be able to retire when you're 40 or 45, not when you're old and gray. I here at Crypto News Global respect all the viewers, and you are not only viewing Crypto News Global, you are Crypto News Global when you're on this show. I'm on a path to have between 500 and 1,000 subscribers this year, and I would love it if you join me on that journey and hit that subscribe button. If you found this stream enjoyable, please share, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next stream, folks. Thanks so much for joining.